Jasmine Guy, it's been a while since we've talked.
Yes, it has.
Welcome back to the Southwest Theater here, where you first got started again back in Atlanta after you moved. How does it
Yes.
feel to be back here?
I love the Southwest Arts Center. We did For Colored Girls here, which was the first production in this space after they had it built. And then we did Miss Evers' Boys here, Blues for an Alabama Sky. So I really grew to love the space and accustomed to the space, and I have a lot of good memories here. We have a lot of good times in those wings and on stage and in the green room.
Since you've been back here, it's been going on 3 years, 4 years now.
Yes.
Good. Still happy about making the move when you did to come back?
I am, and I look at Imani at 9 and at 13, and my daughter, what a crucial time that was of development. I'm glad we were here for that time.
Uh-huh.
And where she is now is really good. So, and I love it here. I like living here.
It's you've gotten to know the city
Me and
a
my
lot better
GPS,
now
yes.
than it was before.
And I just stay off at 285. I'm good.
This particular play, tell us about this play and why were you attracted to it in terms of wanting to direct it?
When I first heard about the play The Mountaintop from Kenny Leon, I actually, he was getting ready to do it on Broadway with Sam Jackson, and he told me the basic idea. I asked him, can I read it? And when they were looking for the Camé role, I actually auditioned for it. I went out to L.A. Kenny and I were doing Fool for Love here in Atlanta, and we both flew out to L.A., and I auditioned for him in L.A. and flew back to finish the run. So I got very familiar with the play once I was reading it to audition. And then I saw it in New York with Angela Bassett and Sam Jackson. And then I let it go, and it wasn't until I realized that it was going to be on the True Colors season, and that I got excited about it again, like, well, how are we going to do it here, and who's going to play what? And he said, I think you should direct it. And I hadn't thought of it that way, so I had to read it again as a director. And I saw how rich the piece was. And having done another King, fictitious King story here with I Dream, I knew there would probably be a little controversy and some discovery, I'll say.
Uh-huh.
There's a lot of discovery in this piece about Martin Luther King as a man, and not just what he did in his life, but who he was as a man. And of course, this is Katori Hall's vision, and it's hypothetical and fantastic, and a lot of it is up to the actors. So, and that is to me what theater is. It takes risks, it pushes the envelope, and I want to continue to do that kind of work here in Atlanta.
Uh-huh.
I don't really believe in conservative theater. It's an oxymoron to me. That's the point.
Is this a piece you believe people will be walking away from talking about? There may be some people who are upset because, a lot of people don't want to see King as a man, as just a mere human being.
There will be, just like every play that I've been in with True Colors, there are people that are upset with the language in the play or the content or how women are perceived or how men are perceived. And I think this play is really going to open people's sensibilities to who Martin Luther King was, because if he's not a human being to us first, then what he did as a man is not as great. If we make him a saint, then we can easily say, well, hey, I'm not Martin Luther King. I can't do what he did. I ain't Jesus. I ain't Buddha. He was a man, and that makes what he did that more impactful, and I think it resonates with us more as human beings when we see that he fought his own demons, and he had his own fears and trepidations, and it wasn't all I was called to do this, let's hit the road. He really struggled along the way, had to fight knowing that his life was in danger. He had a family, had 4 children. And I love that all of that is in this piece. And then the relationship of Kamei, who is a fictitious character, but Katori Hall based it on her mother, who actually was a maid at the Lorraine Hotel. And just imagining what the people that work a hotel learn about the people that stay there on a regular basis, the intimacy of the help with the people that they are serving. And King was a regular, they had their own suite, they ate in the dining hall, people brought by food, they had their meetings at the hotel, so it was his home away from home.
Is the set that we see behind you, this is like going to be, it's going to take place in the
This
hotel?
is our rehearsal Lorraine Hotel.
Right. But
This will be the real phone. Y'all remember these?
Oh, yeah. The dial.
You
Yes.
don't remember this, Dan.
I
We're so high-tech now.
I remember.
Yeah, it takes about 5 minutes to make a phone call in this play. I'm like, can you just do 0? But we have a lot of the authentication from Kat Connolly, our set designer, is based on the real Lorraine Hotel setup, and the furniture that was in there, and of course the famous railing that was on the balcony, which you'll see through the 2 windows here. So we're actually, there'll be walls all around us. And same kind of amber, muddy, dirty looking 60s carpet that they had in all the motels and hotels, and basin there and a little toilet with the shower in another room. So no, not very luxurious, but very authentic.
When you first get a script and you go through it, do you start envisioning what you will see on stage and how you're seeing the actors move even before you start meeting with the actors? What's your creative process?
I read the play. Sometimes I put myself in the play because I still see things from inside out. And I have moments that stick out to me that I want to frame a certain way, and sometimes I'll have 5 or 6 points, and then I figure out how we get to the point that I'm trying to reach. I'm pretty, I think the picture should evoke an emotion. So blocking for me is very important because I see it almost in frames. And unlike film, we just have a flat canvas, so we don't have over the shoulders and close-ups and moments where a camera could zoom in on an actress's eyes and see that brimming tear there. We're far away, and a lot of times I turn the actors out so we can see their full face. And I think that to me is one of the hardest things about acting on stage, is you're intimate with someone this way, but you have to perform it in a way that doesn't look, that loses the intimacy, so we can see it. You can't forget that we have to see your eyes and your, what's going on here. I do as much as I can in my mind, and then I always know you have to leave room for the actors if you have that kind of a cast. Some actors don't have enough to work with yet. They need more directing. They actually want a point-by-point, do this, do that. And that's also the way they work on television. So if you're dealing with people that only have that experience, they're used to stand here, here's your tape, here's your mark, and you walk here, and you have very little movement in the camera frame. But with both of these actors, Demetria McKinney and Danny Johnson, they use the space. They're in touch with their bodies. They physicalize their characters in a way where every move is still Kamei and Dr. King. And their voices, and they've really done a lot of character work that I haven't had to help them with. So I've given a lot of room to see where those characters go naturally, and then I try to just find what's beautiful and really make sure you land here. This is the important moment. And, we've gotten really far in 2 weeks. This is the furthest I've ever gotten with a play in 2 weeks. And it also has to, because it's really a monster of a play for the two actors. It's 90-minute roller coaster. It's intense, it's funny, it's challenging, it's active, it's interactive. What I love about it is once you start, you go to the end and then you're done. So you don't go back to your dressing room, you're not waiting in the wings, you're not trying to keep your energy up. It is on. It's on your mark, get set, go, like the Olympics, so.
Are you enjoying directing more than you did? I know in the beginning
When
was
we
a matter
first
of...
talked,
Right,
yeah,
when
I'm
we
enjoying
first
it more than that. I mean, it's just hard to do something that you don't really think you know what you're doing, and I know a lot more of what I'm expected to do as a director. That was nebulous for me because as an actor, I never really looked at directors to see what they were doing. I listened to them, but my own work was already being done, So I didn't study them until after I started directing. Then I went back and thought about Debbie Allen and Bill Duke, and I watched Kenny more intently, and Andrea Fry and Kent Gash, and I started using my acting experience. Also, what do I like about these directors? How are they making me better, and what are they doing that I'm responding to? I started analytically watching the process, but always from an actor's perspective first. The experience I had with Kent Gash in God of Carnage, I felt that I was getting better as an actor. I even told him, like 3 weeks in, I said, "You're making me a better actor." Now, he directed me in ways I had never been directed. He was very picky. I called him persnickety because he liked big words that nobody knew what they meant, but I knew that one. And there were beats within beats, and I just thought, oh my God, I could never live with this man, because I leave the cap off the toothpaste, okay? But in doing that, he made me so conscious of every moment. And it was a 4-character piece, 1.5 hours nonstop, and we had to be there for each other. So it wasn't enough to just know what I'm supposed to do, because at any given moment, the ball could be dropped. So it was like a team, and I loved it. That was the play with Crystal Fox and Jeffrey Williams and Keith Randolph Smith. And I'm an ensemble player. I love that. I don't like a lot of monologues when I'm just out there on my own, blah blah blah. I like that. And this piece is like that too. I mean, they do have long moments where they're on their own, but fortunately for the writing, it looks like they're still talking to somebody, as opposed to time for my monologue. I feel more confident as a director because I've seen the different levels of a rehearsal process, and I've seen actors grow. I've seen actors find magic in rehearsals that's made me cry. And I knew it wasn't me, and I knew it was them, but also it was God and the creative energy that an actor or any artist works with when it finds that moment where you're not over-analyzing and you're just letting it. You've done all the work, you've memorized, you've moved, and it just comes through in the most perfect, profound way. And that keeps me excited, that you could help someone access that or just witness when that comes.
Well, welcome back to the Southwest.
Thank you. I
Good
hope
to see
I'm
you
back
again.
many, many more times.
Good.
Thank you, Stan Washington.